They're last place in the NHL, and it's not getting better. And for the longest time, Canucks fans looked at this roster and debated amongst themselves how good were they going to be this season. Were they actually going to contend for a wild card? Everything would need to go right for that to happen, but it was obvious that that was the Canucks management's intentions heading into the year. But now, we're looking at the disappointment that is this season, and we're looking at the disappointment that is a bunch of these forwards. Evander Kane, Jake DeBrusk, Conor Garland, and heck, I'm even going to go out there and say Brock Boeser. All these guys have been subpar this season. The production has not been to the levels that maybe Canucks management and some Canucks fans expected them to be. Jake DeBrusk is not really all too productive. He's very streaky, I'll say that for sure. Evander Kane, very inconsistent with the puck on his stick. Conor Garland, arguably the most consistent Canuck with the puck and off the puck the past few years, is now starting to show some growing pains. And then Brock Boeser can't seem to score a goal to save his life this year. And when he does, it's like, oh, wow, he still has the ability to do that. None of this is as mean as it could be. I'm trying to be a little bit nice in the way I'm talking about these Canucks players, but I think we can all agree that when it comes to Brock Boeser, when it comes to Conor Garland, DeBrusk, Kane, these are four middle-aged, decently productive in the past wingers that are just not bringing it this season in the ways that we thought they could have. Which is why we dive into the latest from Thomas Drance as to what he's hearing about the Canucks trade plans heading into the Olympic roster freeze. This article's on The Athletic. It'll be linked in the description. It was published 2 days ago on February 4th, but The Athletic is paid for material, so we're not going to go out there and screenshot it. Instead, we're heading over onto CanucksDaily.com because Edward Jackson has a piece that gives us the big meat and potatoes quote from Thomas Drance. Take a look at this. Vancouver's priority is to move their pending UFAs, including Evander Kane, Teddy Bluger, and David Kampf, before the trade deadline on March 6th. But they're pretty much open to anything. And if the right offer comes across Alvin's desk, he'll consider it. In a recent article for The Athletic, Thomas Drance revealed that Conor Garland and Brock Boeser are the most likely veterans to be dealt by the Vancouver Canucks before the trade deadline. For now, we know that the Canucks are listening. And I can add that among this veteran group of 8 players, I sense that Garland, whose no-move clause doesn't kick in until July 1st, and Boeser should be considered the most likely of Vancouver's veteran players who could realistically be moved before the deadline, Drance said. Now this opens an entire other can of worms. One, there's the part of Canucks fandom that genuinely loves Brock Boeser as a guy. So many of us love this guy. He's a cool dude, passionate dude, emotional dude. He's had a lot of moments emotionally throughout the course of his Vancouver and hockey playing career. And then you have Conor Garland, who's in a much different spot when you get Canucks fans to talk about him. Here's the thing, Brock Boeser is a guy that a lot of Canucks fans didn't really expect to even be coming back to this team around a year ago. He became a UFA, he was open on the market, the Canucks used the money that they freed up from Boeser to try to go after Christian Dvorak. That didn't work. And so in a last-second ditch attempt to bring that guy back, they called the agent, they got it done, and Brock Boeser signed a $725 million AAV deal with the Canucks by 7 years. Unfortunately, he is slow. I think he is arguably the slowest he has ever looked as a hockey player professionally in the National Hockey League. He's got 25 points in 50 games this year, on pace for half a point a game, which is not that bad, but when you consider the fact that this guy had 40 goals just 2 seasons ago, he was at 70 points, he's making $725, it is not a good year for Brock Boeser. And the fact that he is so well beloved by this fan base makes it difficult to accept that maybe trading him is an appropriate move. If the Vancouver Canucks want to get younger, they want to open up some spots for younger dudes in their lineup, and they want to just try to move forward from this group of a core. Meanwhile, You have Conor Garland, whose play has really fallen off ever since the departure of Quinn Hughes. Sure, Garland has produced more as of the past 2 games. The mom's trip has seen him score 3 points in 2 games. He's been involved in 75% of Vancouver's goals over the past 2 games, along with Teddy Bluger, whose number is up to 100%. But Conor Garland hadn't scored a point in forever. Ever since Quinn Hughes was traded, the guy just stopped being productive. And I don't want to make it sound directly like, oh, Quinn got traded, that's why Garland sucks now. But you could definitely tell there was an emotional element to the departure of Quinn Hughes that affected guys like Garland on this team. They were best friends, he was the godparent, and there was an entire thing about, oh yeah, you could tell that Garland is kind of sulking when he was interviewed about the departure of Quinn post-Quinn Hughes trade. But his on-ice play started to suffer as well. He didn't have the same tenacity, he didn't have the same control, the same bite in prior seasons that we had seen. And that's a shame, because Conor Garland has been very consistent the past 4 years as a Vancouver Canuck. Now he is on pace for technically the worst scoring point production year he's had, and his trade protection kicks in on July 1st. Here's the thing, Garland's deal? $4.95 million a year. It expires at the end of this season, but then his 6x6 kicks in on July 1st. $6 million a year with trade protection, whereas right now, Garland does not have any trade protection. He's free to go wherever the Canucks wish him to go. There's this idea that's been floating around Canucks fandom that, oh, Garland now doesn't want to be on the Canucks too, and he's waiting until July 1st kicks in, because at that point he'll have all the control and he'll be able to go wherever it is that he wants. And Vancouver, they're sitting on a ticking time bomb here. If they want to be able to maximize their value in a Conor Garland trade, they have to trade him this year. Don't wait until his trade protection kicks in. Don't wait until he has control over where he goes. Just send him to whoever is willing to give you the most. Vancouver, for what it's worth, they've been very, very reluctant to lower their prices. That was an element that held up the Kiefer Sherwood trade. It wasn't until the agent stepped in and said, hey, you're not going to get a first. Stop asking for a first for this guy. Just trade him already. And then the Canucks were like, okay, fine, we'll trade him. And then they got 2 seconds, which is actually really fine. They traded Quinn Hughes to Minnesota, and they got a boatload of stuff for him. What I at least appreciate about Alvin and Rutherford in this stage of their Canucks president and GMing tenure is the fact that they do not let up on trades. They want to make sure that they get the best value possible when selling. And for Conor Garland, there's no option to do that unless they do it now. So with that in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this assessment from Thomas Drance? Garland and Boeser should be the 2 guys that are the most likely of Vancouver veterans to be moved. That is, of course, whilst talking about Evander Kane, Bluger, and Kampf, the expiring UFAs on the team too. They're probably the most likely. But then, when it comes to the actual veteran players, Garland and Boeser, 2 right-hand wingers, seems like they could be on the block as well. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.